Welcome back to the only Amazing Race 25 recap podcast with the seal of approval, the World Team Number Fatal Group's Amazing Race podcast. My name is Michael Harmstone, and I am joined as ever by our resident Canadian who's preparing to argue on his blog that Amazing Race 16's final leg was flawed and the public should guess the vote, Logan Saunders.
We're podcasting at 3 p.m. today?
Yeah, we are. As a one-off. It's back to 8 o'clock next week.
8 o'clock?
8 o'clock my time. And of course, our special guest star, the one Australian who wouldn't have tried to U-turn Amy and Maya, even if he was in last place last week, Ben Powell.
Howdy doody.
Did you hear that story that Keith and Whitney apparently tried to U-turn Amy and Maya?
Yeah, it was on the Wikipedia page.
It was. I only noticed it earlier when I was just looking at
Wikipedia's truth.
Yes, Wikipedia speaks the truth. As always, if you want to get in contact with us during the next hour, you can post comments on this video. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a Q&A on the Google Plus page, or you can get your opinions in on the Facebook group, which is linked in the video description. Alternatively, tweet us using the hashtag yatncast, which you can see whenever I or Ben speak. So, I didn't have many notes for this episode. Not going to lie.
I didn't either.
No.
Well, that's because I never take notes. But anyway, either way, like it's just like one of those episodes that I watched it last. I just watched it last night before the podcast, like right before I went to sleep, and it was just there's like little details about it. Just like it was like one of those episodes where I didn't have to really take notes. I could just like sit back and watch because it was just a really enjoyable episode instead of just like, you know, something you have to make fun of like last season.
Well, yeah. Last season, I think we were the chief mischief makers in terms of taking the piss out of teams.
And
I
hope that was undeserved.
Nah, it was funny. Brennan and Rachel deserved it. Because Amazing Race podcasting is supposed to be fun. Who wants to see her flapping butt cheeks? Anyway, previously, Jim and Misty had a speed bump, Bethany can do things, Keith and Shelley fought, Kim and Ali won the leg, Shelley and Nisi used the U-turn, and Keith and Whitney were eliminated. Wah wah. That disgusted me.
Weren't they called Team Nashville? Isn't that what? Didn't that hashtag really catch on?
Yeah, it lit the Twitter sphere on fire, I believe, with absolutely zero people tweeting it. Because forced hashtags do not work.
Did you notice that they referred to the other teams by their hashtag name? Like some teams were saying, "Oh, there's mom and daughter." Like who would say that in a normal situation? Obviously, producers are telling them that when they are on camera and driving en route to route markers, that they have to refer to teams by their hashtag name.
So what
I'm thinking that you go first.
What you're telling me is producers interfere. Mind blown. I mean, it's almost like it's the Amazing Race, and producers constantly interfere.
Well, based on last week's episode and their interaction with other people's interaction with Shelley and Nisi, I'm assuming that the teams actually had a different name for them, but it's not one of those names you can actually show on air.
See, if this was Canada, Shelley and Nisi would have gone like that in an Audrey style fashion, and their hashtag would have changed to Team Bitch or something.
Oh.
Team the Bitchular.
But now they're gone.
Yeah. Wah wah. Well, spoilers, Ben, anyway.
There was the Lawrence of Arabia music this week.
There was. We like that when we go to Africa, don't we?
Yeah, it seems like apparently Egypt and Morocco, tomato.
Well, they are pretty much next door-ish.
Yeah, just across the Atlas Mountains and into a couple of other deserts, and boom, you're in Egypt.
Boom. So, first task of the leg was the active route info, and teams had to deliver hay to a stable, take a horse-drawn carriage back to Marrakesh, and feed an apple to the horses that led them there to receive their next clue, directing them to Mark's cars.
Ford Fiestas!
Yeah. Also, I know we love watching out for departure times. Did you notice Brooke and Robbie and Jim and Misty swapped departures?
No, I did not.
Really?
Yes. There was only 2-minute difference between them, but nothing was said on the episode about it. But, yeah, Jim and Misty checked in 5th and left in 6th, and Brooke and Robbie swapped with them.
Wait, Jim Misty came in 6th.
Yeah, then they come sixth last round. I think we had this exact same discussion last week where we corrected you on who finished when in the last week. So apparently you didn't remember.
Let's have a look. I had it written down that they finished 5th. No, they did finish 5th, so to you guys.
Whatever. Wikipedia. Wikipedia. I believe Wikipedia, not you. Sorry.
I've just
Sorry about it.
I've looked it up on my Shadow spreadsheet. They checked in 5th, as I thought. Because this is the first week that... Fun fact, behind the scenes fact, I actually write the team's order from last week on the next piece of paper. And I wrote it down from memory for the first time this season. And, got it perfectly correct, which is a surprise.
Well, I feel silly
So yeah,
now. Michael.
don't correct me. Despite it being late for me. I'm still on the ball, bitches. So we didn't really have that much with this task, apart from Brooke and Robbie being awesome as always. With their
Body slamming the hay and elbow drop.
Oh,
Is that her Macho Man Randy Savage impression?
Well, that is blatantly. Ooh, you guys are wrestlers, aren't you? It's not like you say it every time.
I like how. Yeah, one of my things with this team is I like it when they're like naturally funny, like Robbie is, but when they do stuff like this, where Brooke just is blatantly like hamming up for screen time, it's like, that just doesn't really make a fan of them. But what did make me a fan of them was like Robbie was like off screen, I was saying, Brooke, what are you doing?
I know I have described them as the new American Suki and Jinder. They are not as naturally funny as Suki and Jinder, but they are.
Robbie is.
Funny. Yeah, Robbie's up there. I mean, Robbie's less unintentional hilarity. Because Suki and Jinder had a 6-week run of cocking something up royally. And Brooke and Robbie are never going to get to that level, but they're up there. In terms of being ridiculous.
Are they better than Laurie and Bolo? Do you think Laurie and Bolo have been usurped in the prototypical best wrestling team role by
I'd say so.
Brooke and Robbie?
I'd say they're more entertaining, yeah. I mean, Laurie and Bolo just have the edge in terms of average. Laurie and Bolo 4.6 and Brooke and Robbie at 5 at the moment, but there's not that much in it. I'd like to see Brooke and Robbie not be bottom feeders in a Suki and Jinder style. Eventually. Also, for a team with such a winner's edit, Amy and Maya really suck at everything. I know that.
Yeah, they're really lying around the bottom of the pack there every single time. Well, even in the first leg, they're supposed to be a bit higher up, but then they lose an hour because they get taken to the opposite side of the U.S. Virgin Islands because the taxi driver thought they wanted tourist photos. So, yeah, nothing really working their way other than barely avoiding elimination, which is really all you need on the race.
They are by far they have by far the worst average of any team left in the race at this point. They're on 6. Brooke and Robbie are in next place up with 5. Then Tim and TJ 4.5, Adam and Bethany at 3.17, and then Kim and Ellie and Jim and Misty both at 3.
Cool.
Do you think the dentist will go back to Morocco to fix the horse's teeth?
Hopefully.
As Kim and Ali suggested?
I mean, at least they're having a little bit of fun with Misty and Jim instead of being so serious all the time. I know I like Jim and Misty, but still, I don't think many people do.
It's strange how there's so far there's such a divide. Like I noticed it while they were doing the task, but there's such a divide between the front pack teams and the back pack teams.
Oh, there really is.
Yeah, the front pack teams are the pro surfers, the pro cyclists, the pro wrestlers, the pro dentists who are also bodybuilders. I love that line. And then you have in the back of the pack, you have the mother and daughter, you have the scientists, and you have the college sweethearts / one is flight attendant / drag queen.
I mean, this week's departures were by far the closest we've had all season. I mean, the spread was, less than an hour? It was less than half an hour, actually. 27 minutes. 8:15 a.m. for Kim and Ali, and Amy Meyer left at 8:42.
Keith and Whitney really sucked then.
Yeah, well, Keith and Whitney by far checked in after everyone else had gone off the race course. By far. I don't think there was any sort of intrigue towards it. So once teams completed their horsey task, they must now drive to a random pottery stand and find their next clue, which was, of course, the detour.
Yeah, they get away from the, whoa, rickety ladders and go on to the next task, according to Bethany.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many Bethany impressions possible from this episode with her just... They were definitely the narrators this episode, and it made me laugh every time Bethany spoke.
Yeah. She went back to actually... She actually did the voice.
The rickety ladder.
Which was pretty funny.
It makes me laugh. This might be the worst mistake of the race. I'm so looking forward to talking about that preview. I'm not gonna lie.
I'll get on Bethany later once we get to the roadblock.
I did such a happy dance when I saw that preview. I was like, yes, we have stuff to talk about. So yeah, the detour is a choice between two tasks, each with its own pros and cons, and in this detour, teams must choose between camp or cream. And in camp, teams have to set up a traditional Berber tent to exacting standards to receive their next clue, and in cream, teams must milk a goat and then churn aged milk in the Berber style to make a ball of butter that is at least 3 ounces. And of course, being 6'5", I'd go straight for camp, personally. I know I asked this question every week. You don't go for
need a stage.
You don't go for something that involves animals. You don't go for something that is a multi-stage task. Generally. Both of which were...
I don't know, I hear churning your own butter is pretty easy.
Yeah, but when you ask in perfect French like Kim did, how long will this take? 45 minutes. It's a reasonable gamble to go over to the other one.
Yeah, I can't really fault them for switching detours in that situation because Amazing Race has had a reputation in recent years not having tasks not take quite as long as they once did. We've got speed bumps that have taken less than a minute before.
Yeah, I mean, last week's speed bump was a rare delight in terms of length of time it took. But we've had Bill and Kathy untying a knot before. We've had jumping into a swimming pool. We've had all that sort of stuff.
Sitting on a seat.
Yes, sitting on a seat. At least that had a time limit of 10 minutes. At least we knew how long that would take. Certainly not the shortest amount of time, because I'm pretty sure that was Bill and Kathy with untie a knot, get a carabiner through it, and run.
The teams at the back of the pack really struggled with finding the stables or finding the correct way to transport or even figuring out that they needed a taxi to get to the stables in the first place. It was weird. They just saw teams like coming back to the pit start there having completed the task before going off to the detour. I don't think they really formatted a leg that way before where to finish a task you go back to the pit start.
I know we mentioned this last week, but Morocco is the first country this season where they've actually had a language barrier. Two main languages of Morocco are Arabic and French, which, by the look of things, only Kim speaks. Not that it's that hard, but you know.
You mean Nisi Spanish doesn't help?
Muy bueno.
I'll refrain from going into the same explanation that I did last week.
You mean the same explanation from last week?
The Spanish would have helped quite a bit as it did last week, but this week it seemed like they were further around the remotest where you really need French or Arabic and nothing else is going to help you out too much. But still, pretty impressive Spanish in that short amount of time.
Yeah, from my brief experience of one day of going to Morocco, they do speak reasonably good English actually, but to be fair, that was in a cruise ship terminal, so it's probably not representative.
And every mosque has a Ford Fiesta.
It does. Every mosque has a Ford Fiesta hidden behind it. And
Sounds like something you would see in Grand Theft Auto.
You've been playing a lot of GTA 3 this week, haven't you?
A lot, yeah. I'm gonna make a lot of GTA 3 references, probably in the Amazing Race 16 finale blog. It'll just be popping up everywhere. It'll be like how angry video game nerd is in relation to Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest.
A couple of years ago, I bought GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas for like the equivalent of about £5. When Steam were doing a Christmas sale. I've still not got around to playing GTA 3, but I've completely
5 squids?
Yeah, for about £5, which let's be honest is probably about $6 at the moment.
I've only played GTA Chinatown Wars, GTA 3, and GTA 5, so yeah.
Chinatown Wars is very it's very underrepresented on people's list of favourite games, but it is a brilliant game.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I prefer GTA. I prefer all the other GTAs though, so.
I mean, Vice City is awesome and San Andreas is awesome. So I'm assuming we're going to like GTA 3.
And GTA 5 is above all of them. In every single way possible.
Yeah, but GTA 5 I'm not going to be able to play for years anyway because it won't come down on PC for ages.
Have you played it?
Anyway, no, it's on all the next-gen consoles, isn't it? It's not even out on PC yet.
Really? Huh.
And Nintendo fanboy, I'm not going to stump for crappy Xbox One and PS4, am I? So we learnt a little bit about Jim and Misty in this episode. Well, Jim in particular. He was all-star suture in medical school before heading to dental school. So, I'm going to go to med school and then, quit to be the most sinister profession possible. And, of course, Robbie does not trust animals. Ever.
Alright, you deal with that, Brooke. You deal with that, Brooke. I'll just stand over here.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't trust any animals.
He has. He's got the bull all under control, and Brooke can just take care of everything else. But at least the bull is not going anywhere.
And Amy and Maya, we also learnt another bit about them. They're blatantly getting a winner's edit. I'm still calling it. With Maya doing a PhD on milk fat, wasn't it? Yeah, milk fat.
Milk and butter fat.
Yeah. What an interesting topic.
How bizarrely specialized.
Yeah. Well, it is a PhD. It's supposed to be specialized, but what a really quite boring topic. In my opinion.
Yeah, I'd shoot myself pretty quickly if that was my PhD.
Yeah, you'd be really happy if this task came up and it was your PhD, but it's such a boring topic generally.
She might not find it boring. That's probably why she's doing it.
Oh yeah, I could see why.
Doesn't Brendan have a PhD?
Yeah, Brendan does have a PhD. How did you know about that? I mean, they kept it.
I don't know, maybe because he mentioned it 20,000 times.
And he used to be a swimmer, so he doesn't mind shaving his head. And Amazing Race used to be fun.
It is fun now, though. I mean, this episode was great. Like during the detour, when you just have that like several minute long scene where like they're just interacting with the local, like that guy who was doing that singing, and then Adam sings back to him, and then he sings again, and then Kim or Ali sing back to him in English.
Yeah.
It was just like that scene was like better than
old school scenes.
Yeah, that was probably the most old school scene we've seen for a while.
It was better than anything in the last season. Like you could take that scene and still be worth anything. You can make like a top 100 episode out of that scene alone.
A polished turd is better than last season. I don't think any Amazing Race season, regardless of the producer corruption that the Asian season seem to be having at the moment, I don't think any season will ever be worse than season 24 was. In terms of terrible casting, terrible production generally.
I don't know. You got season 6.
No goals.
I think it's even worse than season 6 because at least season 6 had some redeemable characters.
You have season 14.
14 was alright. It just
Season
wasn't much
16.
special. 16, it started off well. The finale has the worst memory challenge of all time, in my humble opinion. I hate the memory challenge from season 16.
Yeah, but the jet and cord lost. That's got to count for something.
Yeah, I was quite bullish.
It will.
I was quite bullish on Jet and Cord in season 16.
Well, you're wrong, okay? So shut up.
I wanted Brent and Katie to win more.
Whoa, Christina Cha reference. This is the only time we'll reference her in any Amazing Race podcast, I think.
As I said to Logan yesterday, I wanted Brent and Katie to win over Dan and Jordan just for the lols. Because, that would have been hilarious. And the confrontation at the final map would have been even funnier. Can you imagine the mean old lesbians fighting with the actual winner, and probably most useless female winner since Flo?
Trademark.
To use a Logan reference. I know you like comparing Katie to Flo, which is hilarious.
I see it, but Flo set the benchmark for that sort of stuff, and Kay just sort of middled in there.
I must admit, I'm looking forward to Logan covering season 17 because it's completely different to season 16. It's so good.
But first, it's got to go through season 4 of Asia. So
yeah, but I don't know.
Which is what I'm looking forward to, because that was my first ever foreign season of The Amazing Race.
That's the one with the Hilton Ducks, isn't it? That's the one thing I know.
Hey, no spoilers. No spoilers either.
See, I don't even know what you're talking about. So,
I think the fast forward involved a Hilton Duck. That's all I know of it.
Nah.
Well, I know what the fast forward involved, but I think they had to take the Hilton Duck to the pit stop.
Probably, but I have no idea.
I'm going to Google it as soon as I can in a minute. So,
Season 6 is the worst.
There's no way 24 is going to be better than season 6 when you eventually cover it. No way in hell.
Well, recency bias.
I think everyone who watched it realised this was a crap season, whereas season 6, I'm sure there's some people who like it.
There's an overwhelming number, a disturbing number of people like it. They like it almost as much as 14, and I think 14. Well, I did have 14 worse than 6, actually.
I mean, at least season 6 had some redeemable characters. Compared to 24, where all the redeemable characters and the people we can take the piss out of went early. You idiot.
And we'll eventually remember those redeemable characters. Never. Okay, cool.
So Jim and Misty are the first to leave the detour. They did the logical one, which is camp, and Adam and Bethany left Cream in second. Tim and TJ left camp in third. Kim and Ali, Amy and Maya, and Brooke and Robbie left Cream in fourth, fifth, and sixth respectively. And Shelley and Nisi got lost on the way at the pottery stall and left Cream in last. And teams will now drive themselves to Terrace d'Amenar to search for the next clue.
Did anyone catch that really lowbrow joke they did when Tim and TJ were putting up their camp?
What?
Oh, yeah, that was something. That was in my note. I don't know if I have the exact wording of it, but yeah, we don't have to go there.
There's a lot of chat for polls and things like that in that task.
Basically, it involved a lot of
Not to mention
yeah. They weren't visible. You heard a lot of them saying each other's name. They were trying to put the tent up exhaustedly, and then we got a shot of a rooster. So, yeah.
On the subject of the detour, have Jim and Misty redeemed themselves from their parking space detour mishap with the picking the next detour where they got to actually do stuff, or look at stuff and then copy it and then killing it?
Unfortunately,
It's a
yes.
very Survivor-esque roadblock.
It was. I quite enjoyed the roadblock actually. I thought it was cool. It looks like it's the sort of roadblock that if I had the choice between me and my race partner who to do it, I would insist upon doing it because
I probably would too. I mean, I was scared of heights, but that's like a once in a lifetime thing. So
that shit looks hilariously fun, and I know from doing zip lines that it's hilariously fun. So the roadblock, the clue was who has the knack for sliding things in place, and in this roadblock, one team member must navigate a series of bridges and zip lines. Halfway across, they'll find the puzzle, which they must complete to be able to take the final zip line back to their partner. And Misty, Bethany, TJ, Ali, Brooke, Maya, and Shelley all did the roadblock. Do you notice everyone was wearing a shower
TJ
cap?
speaks.
Yeah, TJ actually, speaks. And did you notice everyone was wearing a shower cap?
No, I did not.
One of those
I didn't either.
It's one of those little side things that I was watching and went, why the hell is Misty wearing a shower cap? And then I just noticed it on everyone else. In the same way that I noticed the idiots who left the cycle helmets on the surfing task in Canada last season. I just noticed random things like that. It's a fairly simple roadblock, this one, but it's kind of awesome.
I like how Jim said that there's nothing she can't do, and yet we've seen Misty fail at multiple tasks in the past, so we know there are definitely things that she cannot do.
You know how people are really scared of Jim's eyes? The suit picks up on the roadblock where Misty was screwing up, and Jim's just dead stare. And just taking the piss out of him.
That's Botox for you.
I was quite proud of watching the soup and then seeing Jim and Misty on there getting the piss taken out of them. And of course, this task, as most tasks are, is another opportunity to see how awesome Bethany is.
So I would have probably, if I was them, I probably would have used the express pass.
Yeah, it looks like.
I mean, even if Bethany wanted to do it, like you have to weigh your priorities. Do you want to do something awesome but dangerous, or do you want to die on national television?
I don't think she
die on national television.
I don't think she could have died, given how well Carabiner they were in. But as we saw in the preview, someone does fall off a tightrope.
Mario Party 6 style?
Yeah, it looks like they're stealing another international task, actually.
Which one?
Marina Bay Sands in Singapore.
Oh!
The one where you have to either run up the flight of stairs or do the tightrope. Yeah, we saw the tightrope.
I thought that was a roadblock.
That was Asia 3.
I'm not sure if it will be a detour again, but that task is definitely in there when they go to Singapore. So Bethany used her feet, and Brooke was hamming up for the camera again. And once the roadblock was completed, teams were directed to the pit stop, which was the Casbah Diff, and the last team to check in may be eliminated.
Yeah, Bethany used her feet at the roadblock while Brooke struggled to use her head. I predict Phil will say that at the start of next week.
Hopefully. I'm already lining up our terrible puns for the finale recap with the eliminations in a Canada style. It's one of my favourite running jokes when we do the podcast for the finales. So, shocker, Jim and Misty coming in first and win a trip to
Yay.
And back to the being smutty, the greeter brings a whole new meaning to have a cock on his head.
It's the first time we can call somebody a chicken head without being offensive.
Exactly.
Who calls someone a chicken head? What?
And
That's like a saying from Chappelle's show, I believe. It's supposed to be like... yeah, it's a not so nice term, I'll put it that way.
I saw a theory which said that the final roadblock will probably be animal related this season. I'm not sure.
I'll probably say it is because...
Oh, go ahead.
I'll probably say it is animal related, mostly because of the whole, they're randomly appearing chickens and dove or whatever.
The thing is, there's 2 legs so far that didn't have any animal task, and there's only 1 leg so far where the greeter hasn't been wearing a ridiculous either costume or hat, or both in some cases.
Hmm.
Or maybe that's to do with instruments. I love that producers are just going to go so far out of their way to throw teams off as to what the final memory task will be. Just have them wearing the provincial flower and a bunch of other crap just to see how many things teams will try and painstakingly memorize.
The exception to the ridiculous costume rule was the Danish lady with the Great Danes. But, she provided us with the image of Phil being humped, so, swings and roundabouts.
Actually, Michael referred to Heather and Eve as chicken heads in The Amazing Race 3.
Yeah,
So that's not the first chicken head that's been on The Amazing Race.
And shocker, Adam and Bethany are stoked to be in second twice. Kim and Ali in third. Fourth was Timothy J. Fifth was Brooke and Robbie. Sixth was Amy and Maya and Shelley and Nisi. As Ben spoilt at the start of the show, came in last.
Wah, wah.
So it's a sad departure to the Porter sisters, or the Porter ladies.
A big edit for only half season at last.
Yeah, I'm sort of glad they were eliminated purely because they weren't fighting anymore.
The old Tian and Juri treatment, we should say.
Exactly. I want to see teams stay in who are going to argue with each other and make it interesting for me.
Well, all you need is another minor infraction, and then they'll blow up at each other.
Yeah, but even when they were so far behind, they didn't even argue, and it was annoying. I don't like it when they don't argue, because I'm that sort of horrible person. So we didn't even have a preview for next week.
We had a preview for the rest of the season, though.
Oh, yes, we did.
Very Survivor San Juan del Sur-ish, we should say.
Well, I think it probably spoiled a little bit more than the San Juan del Sur one did. Just looking at it. Slightly spoilt it, but awesome.
But what did we see in this preview for the coming season?
In no particular order: go-karts, high wires, cup massage, rappelling, surfing, mass climbing, my ox is effing broken, a fast forward in Asia, and jumping out of a window.
Surfing. I wonder who's going to have an advantage at surfing, guys.
Well,
obviously Amy and Maya, duh.
Amy had her PhD in surfing, I believe. Oh, somebody's going to be screaming, Uncle.
Oh, I'm assuming that episode is probably from Singapore, but the screen capture is from Singapore. I'm calling it now. When we get to that episode, this will be our podcast banner. There is no question. There will be nothing better in that episode for me to screen cap than this, hands down.
Maybe Enjoy and Miss You will still be there, and they'll.
There should be the Braziers
eyes
logo
bulging out of their head.
This is the equivalent of if we were podcasting Amazing Race Unfinished Business, me screen capping Justin asking if he punches the waxing lady whether he gets a penalty. This is hilarious. I laughed so much. And I
feel like Silas from Survivor should be in that stuff.
I have rewound the clip of Amy and Maya with the cup massage in that preview probably about 10-15 times so far. It still makes me laugh. It's hilarious. And I cannot wait for that task because other teams having to do a cup massage will be even funnier.
Is it safe to say that you were laughing at them?
I was indeed laughing at them. Teams bottled out of it last season with the detour choice of playing hacky sack or getting a cup massage. And the fact that I have this screen cap already means that at least one team will go for the cup massage, which greatly delights me. Because tasks where teams have a potential for minor injury is hilarious. Anyway, back to me being horrible. So yeah. but I rewound these clips so many times, and the surfing thing it's a wave simulator. I'm assuming somewhere in Asia because I doubt it's in Italy or Malta. So that's probably in Singapore as well, which is hilarious. The fact that the half of the preview seemed to be from the Singapore leg, which isn't for a while. And
True. Yeah.
also, the big thing that I learnt by accidentally pausing the preview, fast forward clue.
Interesting.
I paused it to start writing stuff down because I was just frantically writing all the stuff that was in this preview. Paused it at this exact moment and went, holy shit, there is a fast forward. They snuck that up on us.
What country is that in?
RFF, say Singapore.
Interesting.
So,
I don't know. Judging by the trees, I thought it was Italy, but I could be wrong.
Apparently the stickers on the taxi are very Singaporean. That's how they knew. I assume
what's the last leg? Is the last leg of the season Singapore or Philippines?
Philippines. It's 2 legs in the Philippines, I think. Including my X is broken, which I haven't screen capped, but I will be screen capping the shit out of when we get there.
So Jim and Misty make the final 4.
Yes, that's what this is.
Lovely. Lovely.
Also, talking about the jumping out the window thing, right at the end, which we saw twice for some reason. When I paused that, it looked a lot like Jim, but I'm not 100% on that. It looked like a roadblock where the guy in the suit looked like Jim, or maybe Robbie.
Wait, weren't there 2 people there and they were both in the suit?
Well, the last one was the one that I paused and thought, who does that look like? And I'm pretty sure it's Jim.
Well, in the first one, there was 2 people in a suit, so maybe they both had to jump out a window.
Maybe. I was just sort of...
Hopefully.
But, yeah, we had a lot of interesting things in this preview. The fact that we've already talked about the high wires and the cut massage, both of which I'm very, very much looking forward to. The rappelling had 3 lines, so I'm assuming it's from the finale. The mass climbing was almost certainly somewhere in Europe because it did not look like Asia. I'm going to guess Malta. Ox is broken, awesome. And yeah. So
is it even possible for Jim and Missy to be eliminated before Final 4 now? Because we have 6 teams left, 2 non-elimination legs, and they still have the save. So if they have non-eliminations at 6 and 5, and they've still got the save, then that means they could still finish last 4 more times before being eliminated.
Well, there has to be...
So almost impossible for them not to make Final 3.
There has to be either a non-elimination next week or the week after, because leg 9 we're guaranteed is an elimination leg because the save is only valid up to leg 9. So if leg 9 is not an elimination leg, then that is a stupid thing to put in as the rule. So 7 or 8 have got to be a non-elimination or a keep on racing leg. So we are going to get one at either 5 or 6. If Jim and Misty have to use the save in either 7, 8, or 9, then we won't have another non-elimination, and it'll be like 5, 4, 3. Otherwise, there will be a non-elimination either 10 or 11. Well, 10. Let's be honest. If Jim and Misty do not use the save, 10.
Yeah, it looks like final non-elimination be at leg 10.
Yeah, unless Jim and Misty have to use.
So pretty much they can't go home until leg 11.
No, pretty much. Unless they are really unlucky. Because
hopefully, yeah, they're probably not going to be, but hopefully they are.
They're guaranteed to stay through at least leg 8, and we already know they make it to leg 10, so because of the final 4 screenshot. So thanks for that, CBS, for making me dissect this preview. Keep doing it because it was awesome, and actually quite a fun way to spend my weekend.
Well, it's better than how they sport basically the entire season with the season 1 intro.
Well, yeah. On the subject of Survivor doing this, we've still got the person quitting to come. I have no idea who it is.
I have 2 suspects. That's it. I have two suspects.
Who do you think? I'm assuming from an edit standpoint, you're looking at this.
Either Julie or John.
I think probably Reed, because Reed is a complete non-entity.
Mm.
And, you know...
I don't think he's a complete non-entity. He said it has certainly picked up the past couple of weeks. I would say it's Julie because of how miserable they always say, and they're saying like it's in quit. And then you've got John who always talks about his father being with camp. He might pull a Jenna Maraska and take himself out of the game at some point.
I think
Those are my two suspects anyway.
My suspicion with the John always talking about his father dying of cancer thing is probably to make us more sympathetic towards him and Jacqueline. Because one of them will probably make it very far if they are giving him that sort of edit. Say she
surprisingly have so much to talk about for such a boring season.
Yeah, say Jacqueline wins, then most of the money will probably go towards John's dad's treatment and the fact that she hasn't got a uterus.
That arsehole.
So, you know, they're probably making us more sympathetic towards it. Either that or neither of them win and they want him to win fan favourite.
But there isn't a fan favourite.
There's the Arhat Memorial fan favourite, remember?
So their entire motivation to go on the show and bring up their dead father is to win an award on a fan website.
Yeah, to win a trophy and a signed picture of
those devious bastards.
And we did not think we'd...
They played us all for fools.
Yes, they did. And also, yeah, Bill and Kathy for no reason.
Jesus.
I'm determined.
Why don't we have like a weekly Chip and Kim screen cap each week, or Chris based on Amazing Race 6 when she does her I Love Lucy impersonation.
The reason the Bill and Kathy one keeps reappearing is because I have a high quality version of that one. Since they switched to HD, I can get massive versions of the photos, and they do not pixelate at all. So the reason the overlays work quite well is because they don't pixelate much. Whereas if I did one from like pre-season 18, sadly they'd probably be quite blurry because it was standard definition. So, you know, nerdy reason.
So all we gotta hope is that randomly Chip or Kim appear in a flashback, and then you can get it.
Yeah, if Chip and Kim or Chris's weird face appear in a flashback, then I promise to screen cap them.
Of course. Of course.
That is a grade A promise. And a slightly weird one at that.
In this roadblock, teams have to do an I Love Lucy impression.
In this roadblock,
as seen in season 6.
In this, yes, teams must now fly to St. Petersburg, Russia, and find this restaurant. In this switch back to season 5, teams must eat a pound of caviar. A kilo of caviar, sorry.
Oh, the caviar.
We just have Chip going.
And then you can Nicole moaning from being sick from eating the caviar for 3 hours straight. I'm
fine. Just let me alone.
I'm gonna die, Brandon. Where's Jesus?
Yes, last time this task appeared, everyone puked their guts up.
Miss California, ladies and gentlemen.
It's such a disappointment I can't screenshot the Miss California everyone thing. But I'm quite looking forward to seeing.
I have a lovely screen cap of it.
I'm quite looking forward to seeing what on earth Phil has to say about my Oxy Broken, because we might actually get a Chip and Kim screen cap there. We'll definitely get a Colin one. But you never know. We might be lucky. We might get a Chip and Kim screen cap.
Well, he's got the book. There's a book named after that quote.
Exactly. So they'll obviously show Colin, but it's whether they.
Has anyone read that book?
I have not.
Has Logan?
I know that the Gagan kids did the intro for it.
Yeah, I know that.
Michelle has it. Michelle has the book, I think.
Yeah, Michelle, we need you. Tell us about the book. I know you're online. I know you're watching. So tell us all about the book, please, so that we can appear knowledgeable for once. Because that's what we're about.
I hear it's going to be next month's Oprah's book club.
And you get a book. And you get a book. Everybody gets a book.
Everybody's ox is broken. Whoa!
And we're back to the Oprah references.
Deep fried butter!
Seems as though we're talking about Logan.
Damn it.
And we're back to one of my favourite overlays that I have ever made. The terrible...
That's...
Yes. The perils of having a birthday when we podcast, Logan. I then have to make elaborate screen caps. Because I'm a horrible person.
Wah, wah.
Wagwan.
Did Shelley ever dress up as Indiana Jones for Halloween?
No, but on the subject of Halloween costumes, did I send you the picture of Josh and Reed dressed as the Twinnies? I was going
It's been posted everywhere online by every fan ever, I think, in the past couple of days.
Did you see the other one on that theme? The Halloween costume of Trish from Cagayan. I think
I saw that as well, where she dressed up as Lindsay. She tried really hard wearing that costume to get attention from 20-year-old men.
Yeah, Lindsay. I think you'll find.
No, this one quit. This one wasn't a terrifying gremlin from beyond the grave.
Congratulations, Cam. And we're back to possibly the most underrated show we've ever referenced. And yes, that includes Treasure Hunters. Lindsay.
If I didn't have such a shit winner.
Cam's a legend. Cam did an AMA on Reddit straight after the season, basically. He wasn't allowed to.
He was an arsehole. He was like an arsehole, so...
I'd much rather he won than Melina.
What, are you kidding?
Melina was my suspect all along.
No,
Melina freaking screwed me over. I'm terrified.
At least it's not the mole. I'm still sticking to the line of I want to watch the South African season and podcast it with you of the Dutch mole. Because holy shit, your faces when you realise who the mole is. That's all I have to say. And the clues that I will then point out and go, oh my god, how did I miss that? Because that's exactly what I did when watching it last year. Dutch Mole, greatest franchise of them all ever, 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 ever. And I'm sticking to that until you guys podcast it with me. Fact.
Does Shelley own a whip? I still don't get how she got her Indiana Jones. She doesn't even. Nobody owns a whip in that mom-daughter pair. If they did, we certainly didn't see it in the edit.
And that is a question that you need to ask her on Twitter.
She needs to do an AMA all about the whip and why she compares to Indiana Jones. There's no. I mean, is she afraid of snakes too? There was no snake on the bridge for her to run away from either.
I just want to see you tweet Shelley asking if she owns a whip. Because, that would be hilarious.
Well, she traveled across the world with a whiny younger version of herself, so she's sort of like Indiana Jones.
Weren't they also air hostesses? That was not mentioned.
What? I didn't hear that. So, what?
Weren't Shelley and Niecy also air hostesses?
They're flight attendants, weren't they?
Yeah, flight attendants. I thought so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how they know Spanish.
Yeah, that was not mentioned at all. Because even
except in their intro.
Yeah, even the Spanish thing was because she was in the Air Force. There was actually no mention of their current jobs.
It was in their intro.
Yeah,
at the very start of the season.
Yeah, I mean, outside of the start of the season, it was not mentioned actually when they were racing.
Probably because it wasn't very interesting. I mean, you got the Air Force, you got the everything else, you got the fighting, you got the screaming, you got the over-the-top reactions to everything. So talking about being an air hostess seems kind of boring in comparison.
It's poetic justice that Shelley and Niecy and Keith and Whitney will forever be on the final banner together that I've made because of their placements.
Yeah, they sure are trembling in their boots right now.
It's just poetic justice that they will forever be side by side. And, forever hold a dove. So,
Tim's a flight attendant.
yeah, Tim's a flight attendant, and I'm sure that'll get mentioned eventually as well.
Because they don't really have that much going on.
Yeah, true. Well, when they inevitably get eliminated, they're going to have to mention them in some case, aren't they? Because they are.
I could see them being the distant third place finisher for this season.
So, who do we think is going to be the eliminated next? And do we think next week's going to be an elimination, for that matter?
I think either Tim and TJ or Kim and Ali are going to be eliminated next.
Yeah, I think my guess is probably Tim and TJ as well.
I'm not sure if next week will be an elimination, but I'm pretty sure one of those two are going to be eliminated next. Although we have said Tim and TJ are going next for a while, haven't we?
Yeah, we have, but they keep being scrappy and surviving.
I just have no hope for them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty confident they are not going to win, and I don't think they'll have a sniff of being in the final leg. It's whether they go next or fifth or fourth. That's the question.
So for the fourth week in a row, Tim and TJ will be the next ones eliminated.
Yeah,
I think we even said that in our very first podcast that Shelley and TJ would be the first two teams out.
Yeah, what should be an
and
elimination
go
next
4 or 5 spots, but maybe that's finally coming true.
I mean, ordinarily I would probably predict Amy and Maya, but they're getting a massive winner's edit. I mean, the next episode is named after them, so they're probably not going to be going anywhere for a while. And also, cut massage, they're obviously not going anywhere.
It's named the Amy and Maya
it's called
episode.
Pretty Fly for a food science.
It's being named the... Oh. An Offspring reference. Nobody told me this earlier. I would have been all over an Offspring reference.
I'm pretty sure Pretty Fly for an insert thing here came before the Offspring, but yeah.
Pretty Fly for a rabbi. But yeah, the Pretty Fly for a Food Scientist title's been known for a couple of weeks, so Amy and Maya were really, really safe. Like the only team who were safe, I think. So I think we are about done.
I don't have any several minute long analysis for you this week, so yeah.
Try harder next week, Ben.
No Shaquillos?
No Shaquillos. No Francescos.
Shaliqua. Shananiqua.
Shaquori?
Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaquille O'Neal. He's tall.
He is. So thank you very much for watching and listening. We'll be back next Sunday at the new time of 8 PM GMT, which is 12 midday on the Pacific, and 7 AM Monday AEST for the next Amazing Race Recap podcast brought to you by the UR Team Number Facebook group. Don't forget to leave your comments down below, and please like the video so we can rise up the rankings and I can stop sounding horrendously needy. You can hit all us up on Twitter. If you search yatncast, you should find us. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.